In this video that you are watching right now, we're going to talk about the biggest cause to low self worth. What's low self worth? Low self worth is when you have an opportunity in your life and you feel like you're not good enough for it. Like there's other people that deserve it more than you, or like you haven't done enough to earn that opportunity. And so you'll literally come up with excuses or ways to sabotage yourself or turn it down so that you don't put yourself in that situation that you don't believe that you've earned in the first place. Self-worth is extremely important. It determines the size of the actions you take, the size of the obstacles that stop you, how good you feel about yourself, how other people feel about you, your income level, the quality of your relationships, your health, and how you feel each day, just how you get up in the morning and actually feel once your feet hit the floor and you get out of bed and you're about to start your day. Your self-worth will literally determine the average feeling that you have day by day as you go about your life. Something I want you to think about throughout this video is the concept of, do you trust yourself? Would you actually trust yourself? Let's say you set out a task that's important to you and you don't have anybody to motivate you or remind you to do it or tell you to do it. How likely are you to actually complete that task and to do it well, to do it to the best of your ability? Rate your integrity 1 out of 10, because that's really what it is, right? It's called integrity. Integrity is when I say I'm going to do something and I actually go and do what I said I would do. That's a promise to myself, essentially. So rate your integrity on yourself 1 out of 10, just within your own mind. You don't have to comment or anything like that. Actually, that'd be cool if you did. But rate that in your own mind. And then think about somebody you do trust. Now that you've rated yourself, think about someone else that you do trust, someone preferably that you trust a lot. And whoever you trust the most, let's say it's the person that you trust the most in your life. Maybe you even trust them with your life. Maybe you trust them with your money. Maybe you trust them with your well-being. I don't know what it is, but whoever is closest to you in that respect, who do you trust the most? Go ahead and take a moment and rate this person's integrity out of 10 inside your head. That's probably higher than yours, right? I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess because most of us will have somebody in our life that we trust more than ourselves, that we are actually like, okay, if they said they're going to do something, I know pretty for damn sure that they're going to do it, and I can count on them for that. Now I've got a mind-bending question for you. This person that you said you trust a lot, would you say that this person is valuable in your life? Very valuable, perhaps? Think about other people that you trust. Would you say that maybe there's a direct correlation between how much you trust somebody and how valuable to you that they are? Some of you are starting to put the pieces together as you listen to this, but really think about that relationship. How much do I trust this person and how valuable are they to me? What's really going on here? Well, have you ever told yourself, this time I do it, I'm going to follow through. This time is going to be different. This time I'm going to make it to the end, only to just find an excuse to sabotage or not make it somehow, or back out or quit? Because every single time that you break a promise to yourself, you're saying, my word's not important. Translation, I'm not valuable. Because if my word is not important, think about this for a second. If I go out, if I go to work, or I go to a social gathering, or I just see some friends, and my word is not important, if I've actually created a reality, a reinforced belief over time that my word's not important, and I make a promise to somebody, can they count on me to follow through with that promise? No, there's probably no value to it at all. So in other words, if my word has no importance to people, it has no value, which means I have no value. Because somebody can only be as valuable as their word or as valuable as their commitments. They can't speak, they can still make commitments, right? So we can only be as valuable as the commitments that we've promised to do. And if we back out of those commitments, then literally our word has no value. If we tell somebody, hey, I'm going to get this done for you, and they can't count on that, there's no value in there for them. They almost have to like write you off. They have to be like, oh, okay, it's just, it's just Jeff saying that one thing again that I can never count on. And they start to become actually less valuable to you. Like if you had a friend where you built maybe your relationship off of some type of mutual value that you had with each other, and they start going back on promises suddenly, that relationship loses its value, right? So reliability is extremely valuable. When you buy a product, you're essentially buying a promise that you're going to have a specified result over time. If I buy a supplement, it's supposed to get me some sort of result. Maybe that's rehydration. Maybe that's certain things that I need to replenish in my body. And I count on that result from that product. That's the promise they're making. And so we're supposed to trust that, right? But if you buy a water bottle and it starts to leak and it doesn't hold the water anymore, well, that promise is no good anymore. It's not keeping its promise anymore. So essentially, that thing becomes useless. If a water bottle has a leak, it becomes useless. If your bike doesn't ride anymore, it's useless. The value's gone. The promise is gone. If you hire a marketer and they don't go market for you or they get no results for you, it's useless, right? So the value is how predictably can you get the result of the promise that was given to you. And when you make promises to yourself and you don't give yourself your result, you're essentially telling yourself that you have no value. When you break promises to yourself, you are continuously reinforcing the belief that you cannot be relied on. So, why do we do this to ourselves? Why would we intentionally break our promises and reinforce this belief that my word is meaningless, that I can't be relied on, that I'm actually not very valuable as a person? Well, it's because you're afraid to be seen, imperfect, flawed, failing. It seems easier than going out and being judged and putting your creative work out there for everyone to see and tell you their opinion about. It's a lot easier as doing nothing. It seems easier, I should say. It seems easier. And the reason I say that is because while it seems easier at the time, it's not easier later. It's not easier when we don't take action, when we literally do nothing. We never put ourselves out there. We never take risks. And so we never get any reward for it. So we just sit there stagnant, doing literally nothing with our lives, feeling terrible about ourselves because we're not going anywhere. So we get into this mode where we're so afraid of people judging us, of what they're going to say or think about who we are, that we literally make up excuses to stop ourselves from moving forward. This is what self-sabotage means. When you come up with reasons not to do stuff that you know deep down, probably know deep down, there are certain things that are going to move you forward, but you're afraid to do them. And the crazy thing is that we wouldn't actually do any of this if our subconscious wasn't getting something out of it. If we didn't get some kind of benefit, we wouldn't do it at all. So what is that benefit? Well, you get to be right. You get sympathy. You get to validate your beliefs. You get to put the responsibility or blame, literally the work, on someone or something else. You get to not feel like you're the reason for your own failure, even though that's the truth. And so there's all these psychological benefits to it where we get to feel comfortable. We get to feel like we're not the ones that have to go and make our lives difficult to fix it, right? We don't have to experience any more future difficulty about this. We get to just put it to the side. And that's what we think happens when we make up excuses and get out of stuff. But what really happens is we're creating delayed consequences that we can't foresee and we don't actually know. The ultimate danger here, and the reason this is all so important, is because I don't want you to give up. That's the last thing that I want for you. When your self-esteem or your self-worth gets so low, you'll eventually give up and you'll start to feel like it's hopeless. And hopelessness is the absolute worst thing that you could have, because when you give up on yourself, everyone else does too. So hopelessness is like a commitment to doing nothing for the rest of your life. And that's the last thing that I want for you. So, what's something we can do about this to start reversing maybe even the track that we're going down? Start keeping small commitments to yourself. These can be extremely small, they can be extremely simple, like exercising or stretching in the morning. It could even be like drink a glass of water when you wake up. Just pick some small commitments that you know you can keep. And I recommend make them non negotiable. Start making your word important, where if you say you're going to do something, you do not let any excuse stop you. Stop making commitments you won't keep. Make small ones that you will keep. For the added cherry, reward yourself for commitments that you do follow through on, because once you get that reward, it'll make it feel good and you'll maybe want to keep it more the next time. Actually, you definitely will. Because when you get a reward, you feel a little better about it and you're more likely to keep the commitment next time. I recommend implementing something non negotiable and small in the morning so that you can start off every single day in momentum, on the right foot, feeling better about yourself and building your self worth consistently. Now, if you've been stuck in this cycle for years, it's not your fault right now, but it will be because now you have the information. And if you choose not to act on it, that's your fault. My Course Spark is designed to help you rebuild your momentum and your self worth by giving you habits, actionable, reasonable habits that you can implement into your days consistently, building that for you. When you become somebody who can be counted or relied on, everything changes for you. That's what Spark will help you become. So when you're ready, click the link in the description below this video and start the free first module.